Okay, good. I'm going live, and we're working here. So we have this thing. I will title the video probably by the time you see it, but I want to go through this right now because this is an important thing. We are working. I'm absolutely clear. We know exactly we need to be able to build and expand our creativity as actors, right? It's just a fact. I've got a 950 plus emotions list. I've got a 950. I think it's 11. I have an 1100 activities list. And there's more and more. And today, we're going to expand the reasons at the door. Now, the reasons at the door is absolutely vital. And what a reason is it is a logical reason to be in a place, right? So, it's important to be able to work with reasons. Let me write this down. Hold on. Reasons at the door. Okay, so we are absolutely knowing that there's criteria, right? There's meaning, there's emotional preparation. Let's go through it. So basically, there is to construct your activities. There is motivation, difficulty, measurable success. I'm calling it measurable success, right? You have to be able to see whether is that Jenga puzzle that you're actually building up layer by layer, gluing it together. Is it actually staying? Is the glue holding? Is that's actually a measurable success? All right, so we're working with these things that are measurable, right? Then we add reason, and we add reason in a way that's not logical. So we're able to do this without logic. Then we work with urgency to do the activity. Now, we add consequence, right? And that's some people, consequences work and sometimes they don't. And then what we end up adding last is emotion or emotional preparation, right? Because there's already emotion activated with some of those other ingredients, usually is the case. But then we, on top of that, work hard and work deep. And we do rich, deep acting with emotional preparation, which is an entire process that you go through to be able to activate. And don't forget that step of emotional preparation, which is the actual activation of your own emotion. That is the activation of your own talent. That is exactly what it is. There's nothing else. There's no other way. So let's take that and let's look at this and understand that when we're looking at this whole thing here, and please ignore the noise. There's some construction today, and that is absolutely okay. So I appreciate all the hard work of people. So the reality is, basically, the reality is that we're crafting our reasons at the door. Okay, so I'm going to give you some just absolutely fantastic reasons to come to the door. Now, obviously, I'm telling you straight out, if you want to do some kind of a creative collaboration, contact me. But the reality is many of these things, they work for acting classes, they work for scenes, they work for theater, they work for work rehearsals, they work for every single aspect of art. They're completely across the board. These reasons will be reasons that you'll see in movies sometimes. Some of these you haven't seen before at all, but sometimes there will be reasons at the door that you will see in films. And that is absolutely true. And it's the same in scene work, all that. I use these color tint glasses to read faster. So just so we're clear. And let me do this very quickly. I'm going to get this in about 30 seconds, just so you're very, very clear. This is emotionalpreparation.com. We are absolutely working. There is color tint glasses at the store. This is going to be very, very quick. They will actually help you extend reading. And one of my most favorite things is this backlit board. And that is an incredible thing. The backlit board is an ability that you can do to be able to, I'm just finding my place now, hold on. The ability to be able to do these incredible things with art because it's backlit. I'll have to show you one of these days. But let's get to this. Okay, reasons at the door. Reasons at the door. Now, there is a list on the website, but this is additional stuff. So, all right. So one of the reasons here, let's see if I can get it in order. Okay. I think I just mixed up the order. That's okay. Let's work from here. Now, reasons at the door. To get a mascot costume back that you share with somebody. Okay. Now, obviously, you've got to build up a backstory. Is it reasonable? Is it a daydream that you've had? I don't know. Maybe you want to go do mascotting for the, I don't know, sports league team or something, or the Lakers or whatever you like, whoever it is. I don't care. But the reality is whatever team. And you want to do that. And, and that's something that you share a costume for. You build up that backstory. So you can spend time daydreaming that daydream, right? Now, the next one is to get your favorite book back. So you're knocking at the door, right? Now, I always tell people this. Listen, you get yourself purposefully, absolutely upset. Absolutely self-activate your emotion. And then you feel that, there's either a constriction or a levity, or there's some physical sort of, now, when you start working deep, this is what happens. It's called visceral responses. So your body starts having a visceral response to the emotion, which means that you've gone pretty deep. And then you put that energy, the first burst of energy, into the knock. Now, you'll end up hearing in the knock the urgency, or you'll end up hearing the meaning. Now, most people don't use urgencies unless it's in special rehearsals for knocks at the door. But that's fine. This is obviously, you work on the criteria of whatever it is that you're wanting to focus on. And that is self-directed, because you have to adjust that for your scene work. All right. The next one here I have is you get a signed book of your favorite, your signed copy back from somebody, or you ask for a signed copy because you need to do a photo shoot with it, or you build that backstory. The next one is to get your director's chair back. A director's chair, that's a good one. You might have to literally knock on somebody's door and ask for a director's chair. Now, typically you don't have objects that belong to yourself that you're asking back, but in some cases there's scripts that actually instruct that. All right, there's some good ones on this. Now, pick up film footage. Now, you're coming to somebody's door, to reasons at the door for acting exercises, right? And we are looking at this so that there is a pickup of film footage. And then, now here's a couple of decisions that you get to make. Obviously, you get to make all the decisions, and this is the pressure, because in these acting exercises, you've got to be able to have format, which I've designed so that you can use these formats. Now, here's some decisions. Are you working together on a project, on a film project, you and your acting partner? Number two is, have you had an argument about the editing? That's a decision, right? Now, number three of a decision is, did they steal your footage? Or was there some back negotiation or some other nonsense that you don't know that you find out later in the story? Maybe you think that they stole the footage, and then you find out later in the film that their mother sold the footage to somebody else because they back-ended a deal and set their daughter up, and you're the daughter. Let me tell you something, that's a very realistic expectation. But if it's believable to you and you have a talent to believe it, then work with the item that's most believable. So maybe it's a different backstory that's more believable to you. Maybe your friend is just, you ended up working on this footage together, and the footage is absolutely fantastic. You've really, really done good work, and you both worked on it. And then all of a sudden, they took off the footage because they found somebody to sell it to. And they have no idea why somebody bought the footage from them. Now, if it was a film script, or if it was a movie script, or if it was a theater production, then what would happen is the backstory, right? All the conspiracy backstory stuff ends up coming out in what? Scene 2 and scene 3, right? Or the part 2 and part 3, or near the end of the movie. And all of a sudden, near the end of the movie or mid-movie, you find out the reason why somebody wanted to buy that footage from you. And that would be something that would be great, because that's how elements reveal themselves. And so we're working with this to see what can you initially believe and then what can you work with. A reason at the door is if somebody stole your film footage. I'm telling you, that is an absolute solid. It's logical. It's a good reason. It's grounded, all of that stuff. It meets every criteria for an acting exercise. Somebody has stolen your editing footage and you're seeing if they're home. You've had to track down their address and to be able to ask them, listen, I'm not here to harm you. I just want to get my footage back. Now, that would be an excellent, excellent acting exercise. Now, why don't we all do those acting exercises? And let me know in the comments what it is like for you. It is great. That is a great thing. So, and it's a good scene. So some of these obviously will work great for film and other theater, obviously. So the next one I have is creative. Oh, it's creative. It is you literally, the reason to come to the door, right, is based on the main premise of you're there to deliver a singogram. Okay, now you're there to deliver a singogram greeting, which means like, no. If you're there to deliver a singogram, now I'll add all this to the work, everything. But the reality is that you're working with this. So you've got some options, some really creative options. Are you there because you're preparing a singogram as an engagement? I don't know. Have you done that in the acting class yet? Or have you done it in the acting exercises? Have you done that as a particularization towards your scene? Well, if you're in a situation where you're engaged, if you're in a situation where there's marriage involved, and newlyweds or whatever, right? That would be an excellent, excellent thing to do as an acting exercise to prepare you and the other actor. Make your acting more real, all that. And then that would be something. So you deliver, your door is to deliver a singogram. Now, here's a twist. Maybe you deliver a singogram and you have a mask on so they can't exactly see your face, right? And it's something to be very romantic to be able to ask the person to marry. Are you willing to do something like that? That's an excellent, 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 incredible reason to come to the door. Now, here's another one. A reason to come to the door and you're delivering a singogram. You have a really shoddy, crappy, or I wouldn't say crappy. I just say you're struggling for money for whatever reason, right? And you have to take on this job of doing singograms. Okay, now you do this singogram, and you've got this singogram going, and man, you've got to set up yourself and dress up in some tuxedo suit with the thing, and then deliver this singogram, and then you go to the door, right? And you do this, and all of a sudden, there's a spark between you and the other person when you're singing this romantic song, and you've never seen the person before. Now that's a good one. That's another good reason at the door. See, where you're working with this component, deliver a singogram greeting, and are we able to deliver a singogram greeting and work with it so that we've got all these creative ideas that we can put. Now, I don't know. You might want to do any kind of thing. Maybe you have to dress up in a certain costume for a certain event. It could be a Jewish holiday. It could be any religious holiday that you have to dress up. Maybe you have to show up and sing a religious verse, Bible verse, or whatever religion, right? And you're singing a religious verse dressed up for the holiday, right? And you have to sing it to the tune of Mary Has a Little Lamb. And that's your singogram. Now, I'm telling you, that is the way to take breath away from your audience as an actor. And I've seen over 30,000 acting exercises. I know what I'm talking about. This is a fantastic idea for you to do. So work with these ideas. And I mean, I could go on for 20 minutes with different ideas with how to deliver singograms. And maybe I'll do a special thing on it. But this is great. Really, really, really good. All right. Next one is to borrow a ballroom dress for an upcoming event, dance event. Okay, so we have an upcoming dance event. Now, obviously, listen, you build up your reason. The stronger you build up your backstory, the more logical reason you have to be in the single one place of knocking on the door. Okay, now, after you knock on the door, regardless of whatever you have going on emotionally, your job absolutely is to receive the other actor. The first thing to do is receive the other actor. And then you'll see what they have and what you have mixes with inside of you. That's the point, right? That's why it's called art. Acting should actually be called art in my book. But the reality is that it's the art of acting. It's the art of acting. So you're interested in this is the backstory. It gets you there. So the borrow of a ballroom, you're going to borrow a ballroom dress for an upcoming event. You decide what event, what dress is it. Let's say it's a dress that somebody wore at a red carpet, and that has something that just absolutely motivates you. Now, look, every chance you get, you want to be able to work with motivation and acting. It's going to help your personalities actually come out. All right, so what else? Borrow ballet slippers. Now, that's a good one, actually. It actually is a good one. It could be for male or female or any gender. And the reality is that you want to borrow ballet slippers. And what the key ingredient to this is you're going to borrow ballet slippers, and you're going to have to make sure that your absolute shoe size actually is realistic enough to be able to realistic believe that it would be an exact fit. Now, that would be something that would be tremendous because you could do all kinds of stuff. The reasons of the door, right? Or the reasons of the door and acting it, exercises. All right. Now, let's look at this. Now, let's do this. To pick up, now, the next reason at the door for an acting exercise is to pick up a eulogy speech. Now, I'm telling you, that is a great. You want to pick up a eulogy speech for a funeral handout. And you've got to go take it to the printers or print it up yourself. And that's another that's another idea. Have to make sure that this is all out there for you to be able to work with. So you want to pick up a eulogy speech for a funeral handout. Now, that's excellent idea. Absolutely excellent. And realistic. And you want to give yourself a backstory. Sometimes, now look, if you're in working with relationships, which most people are, but very quickly in the work, you get working with relationships. You build up a fantastic relationship backstory, right? You build up the relationship with the people, and you build them up. Now, I'm looking at this more as a teacher director, where I would build up a relationship with one person, build up a relationship with another. So their built up relationships are inside of them as people. Okay. I know what I'm talking about. This is exactly how to be able to build dynamic within acting. It's not like trying to emulate some other thing. This is actual creation, fully, absolutely creation. And then that goes together, and you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody does, but you know that something's going to happen because there's going to be interaction. Don't expect yourself to know what's going to happen with your acting. I don't know. I mean, I go and do acting half of the time. I don't know what's going to happen. And half of the time I have to wonder what happened after it did, because that's how involved I get. I get people, I listen. I don't know. I'll just receive everything. Sometimes that's the process of receiving. It's past listening. It's the ability to receive others, to work on that. It's just in yourself, it's a good thing. Or keep it a secret between me and you, whatever it is. But the reality is now the next one is to pick up or to get a family recipe for your past relative. That's a good one. That's a good reason. It's a good reason at the door. It's a good reason to come to the door in an acting exercise. Now, obviously, you passed over a relative, you do your emotional preparation on that. You could do maybe even more than one emotional preparation. If you're working on a film project, theater project, you're going to have to do multiple preparations. And obviously, give yourself breaks so that it doesn't go too deep, although you need to measure that. And look, all of this, I can't tell you too much too quick. Let's just work on this. So to get what does this say? Oh God, a custom. Oh yeah, this is cool. Now, the reason to come to the door is to get a custom eight-story chocolate fondue set for a party. Now, look, this is a custom-made item. Now, you've got to sit and really imagine this item. This isn't some store-bought chocolate fondue two-story setup. This is, or three-story setup. This is an eight-story grand chocolate fondue piece that's one of a kind. And you are coming to be able to get that item. Now, that's a good one. It is very good. Build out backstories, relationships, who's going to be at the party, why is the party important, what is the party celebrating? Maybe you just won some of these, I don't know, awards or whatever you want to call them, and you're celebrating. That's great. Good for you. Okay, so all right, next item is to get specific handmade color tint for painting. That's actually a not so bad. It is not a bad reason at all, because if you're working with certain types of paint and you mix different paints with different brands and all this other stuff to get certain colors, and you got to match your piece of furniture with another piece of furniture, you realistically need to come to the door. Hey, listen, I need the paint, the leftover paint, so I can paint that jewelry set the same color as the matching wardrobe container or whatever it is. So that is an absolutely viable reason. Build a backstory off it. It's a great idea. Now, the next one is to get specific computer code. Now, reason at the door is to get specific computer code for a website or programming project. That is a good. Now, there is sometimes, now I would suggest to you to include in your own backstory, which some people include backstory and emotional preparation. I'll go through that. But the reality is, you give yourself a backstory that's believable to you. I would include the difficulty that you had a specific difficulty in writing a certain type of code, right? Or you didn't know a certain computer language, or you didn't have the program to be able to do the 3 graphic design system render, or computer code language, something. Make sure that it's realistic. So you add that extra tiny little difficulty. You literally had a difficulty that's really believable to you, or you don't even know HTML, CSS, and all that, or whatever. So work with that. Okay, that is a good reason. All right. Now, next is. Now, I'm going to ask this question. I need to type this up for you. So this is I'll put up there. Ask yourself, right? You're going to ask this of yourself. Is there a special skill, right, that your acting partner has that you can include? Okay, now look. This will equal more reality. Okay. So this is important because you want to be able to literally absolutely achieve these incredible things. And the incredible things that you want to be able to achieve is, let's see if I can find this. 1 second, just let me try and Okay, well, so basically you are looking at the ability here of, here we go. So we're working at this so that we're able to look at this and what are the special skills that your actors have. Now, I'm absolutely phenomenally encouraging you to absolutely work with that 100, 900, actually, or do the 1100 list. It's $11. It comes with worksheets. And these are the worksheets right here. And there is, I think, nearly 150 pages. It's over 150 pages with the bonus emotions list. And it is literally, you sit down and fill out exactly what it is. So I have here like day, let's look at this, day 22, okay? So I've got here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's day 22. This is the 22 day in the course, right? And then you look at, and you literally, like, now at this point, we're working with motivation, working with difficulty, you're working with measurable success, you're working with reason, you're working with urgency, then you're working with consequence if you choose to work with consequence, and if consequence activates your emotion in a free way, not in one where you feel like you're constricted. You don't want to add a lot of constriction to your acting until later in the work. And then that's just to craft your ability to do your work and your acting with actual material that has restriction. So that's where you're matching your preparation work with your other. So the reality of this is great. So there is a list of activities, and you number 1, 2, and 3 on your list, right? So you number 1, 2, and 3, and you work with this list. And what are the top 3 things that you want to be able to do? And then you prepare at least 2 of those activities, and then you bring one of those into your classroom to do. Or you bring one of those into your film set to work for those days, to be able to work with your scene work or onto the studio or soundstage, whatever it is. So then the next thing, so you write here 1, 2, 3, and then you write down what are the items needed to complete the task. And then you write down what is the motivation, what's your main motivation that you, or 1 or 2 or 3 items, but usually you're like 1 or 2. And then what's the specific difficulty of the task? And then what is the measurable success? How can you tell whether or not the activity is going to be working or not? And then, is there a reason? What's the reason? Is there an urgency? What's the urgency? What is the time difficulty? Urgency equals time difficulty. That is exactly the truth. Then if you feel like it, then you can add what is your consequence. All right, now that is number 22. Now after certain days, there is another one here that basically will be, here we go. We literally are working with then a simple thing where we add, like an example here is, now we have day 26. So 2, 6. So the reality of that is now we've got the same thing. We have motivation, we circle, we know what it is. We decide 1, 2, 3 of our activity choices for that day of work. And then we go through and we go, which one is it? There's links, by the way, directly to the products. Please use the links every single time, because if you just use it once, it's not going to go to the right product. And for one, and number 2 is that feel free to do what you want, but it would then benefit me in some way that you can be able to use this consistently. I have no idea if people will use the link to make purchases, but I do encourage that. So work with that, and it will definitely help me to be able to do more materials and work harder and all that. So like here's one. Now day 30 is carve up and paint Noah's Ark. Carving and paint. There's a carving and paint pull-out pattern set. Now that's immediately awesome, right? For some people, right? Now you could do gargoyle, paint carve gargoyles or whatever, right? It's just, this is one that's here. Bending steel in a vise is another one. Then there's a tube bending kit. Then there's assembling a robot. There's a robot building kit. And you click right there and it's system. It's an interactive PDF. You pull it up on your computer, you do the work, and you send it out, and you go right to the product, get the product, and you're set for the day. So you can plan this stuff. I would try and plan your activities 2 weeks ahead. One, it gives you time to get the products actually there, so you've got everything assembled. And two, it gives you a chance to internally be able to measure whether or not an activity is right for you, right? So then you go through this. Then we go through 1, 2, 3. What items do you need? Do you have the items? Did you order the kit? Do you have all the items from other projects or whatever? And then you've got all that sorted out. And then again, 2 weeks in advance, you want to do these like 3 or 4, 5, 6 classes ahead. And then you write down the last part you do is you go through the motivation, you go through difficulty, measure success, reason, urgency, if you feel like consequence. And if you don't, that's fine. And then there's emotional ideas. And we work on the intended emotional range. Now, there's a great video that's called the Intended Emotional Range. It is incredible because it is the forgiveness that you need to have to be an artist, an actor, right? Because you work so hard on your emotional preparations, sometimes only 10% of it shows up back up in the work. Other times it becomes the main focus. So this will help you do and craft your emotional preparation. So I'm happy to show that to you. It helps me to do all this work because one, I even learn more, which is incredible to say. And the awesome thing about this is I get to learn from you. So that is, I like doing. I think that's fantastic. All right, so let's keep working through. So coming to the door. All right, now go ahead. All right. So the next one is this is an activity. Sorry, this is a reason to come to the door, right? This is a reason to come to the door, and in an acting exercise, reasons to knock at the door. You might say also to get a specific jewel to make a ring with. Okay, now this is how I would suggest to you. I would suggest to set this up this way. All right, suggestion is it's a wedding ring that you plan to have handmade. Okay, now it could be promise ring, it could be any ring, right? It could be any kind of jewelry. But I suggest you try this one out. It's a wedding ring that you're planning to have made. And then you don't know that she wants to cut off the wedding. That is fantastic because then you've got dynamic in the scene. That's an excellent acting exercise. All right, now, next one is, and you could do all sorts of things with this. You could do promissory rings. You could have a special ring that you need to be able to do for sports leagues. You could do whatever, but you want to be able to craft it so that you completely immerse yourself in that environment. All right, next one is to pick up a custom birdhouse design pre-cut pieces. Right, so you're there to pick up a custom birdhouse that is in fact your house or your apartment or your building, wherever you abode, and hopefully it's not a cardboard box somewhere. But the reality is that you've got this thing where you've got this incredible design, and you're there and you're motivated to go pick it up so that you can assemble it and get this thing done, right? And you want to assemble this birdhouse that actually looks like your house. That's cool. That's cool. Now here's another one. You want to pick up the free library box set pieces. You want to pick up, you can build your own free library, and maybe it's also designed just like your house, right? And it's a special custom design. And you're there to be able to go pick that up, and you're excited to be able to get the project going. And you might even have, really, there might be a whatever kind of reason behind it, which would be great. Really good. All right. So the next one is to pick up an architecture design of a building. Now, there could be a lot of good reasons for that one. A lot of good reasons. Now, the next one, and I think that might be our last, but let's see. We'll pick up a custom drawing, right? And then we'll add a backstory to it. So the point is to pick up a custom drawing, right? Now, it could be a drawing of you and your fiance. Okay. Now, you have a drawing of both you and your fiance. And you're coming to your best buddy or one of your good friends that happen to be in your acting class, or maybe the reason to knock on the door, or the reason to do the door is so that you can pick up this custom drawing, right, of you and your fiance. And he is the artist, or she's the artist of the actual piece. Now, you don't know, but basically they just got off the phone call with your ex-fiance. Oh, wow. Now, what the heck? Now, can you do this in an acting class? Can you go and literally find out for real, in real time, that you just don't know? Now, that could be a scene, but the reality is it is absolutely realistic, and it's a good one. So you literally don't know that that is the situation until you're doing in the exercise. You just don't know. You just don't know that parameter, right? So now you could construct that in great ways. So anyway, listen, I want you to expand your reasons of the door. I want you to work with more than just 5 emotions. There is an emotions list so that you can work with more emotions in your acting. There is an incredible amount of work on the website. And there is also, there's interactive PDFs. There's all kinds of things. So absolutely look at that thing. I don't know if I have the course up yet. No, not yet. Now, this is a fantastic thing, and then we will wrap up. This is the backlight board for drawing, sketching. You know what? I will even show it to you right now. Let me see. This one. I will show you exactly. Now, this is a smaller one. This is a smaller one. Now, I know it's thin, right? It has a plug for USB. This is a absolutely phenomenal project. You could probably work with this one single item for 25 different activities for acting, which is great. And honestly, if you're like, needing some kind of cool thing to have around the house in case you get bored, this is great. All right. So I don't get bored very often. I don't know if you know that, but if not, you just learned it. So, all right. Now, I am absolutely looking at the board. Now, it is plugged in. You can tell because there is a light here. Now, now I can touch it once. It lights up. I can touch it twice. It lights up even more, right? The more times I touch it, the brighter it gets. Now, if I take this and I say, put this piece of paper here, you will see that it lights it up perfectly. So it is a backlit board. And you can do things like examine documents, look at architecture drawings, x-rays. You can do all kinds of things with this thing. It is absolutely incredible. Now, I don't know. I'm going to try something here just to be able to. Let's see if this shows up on the computer screen or not. Now, there is here we go. Hi. Now, look, this is fantastic because you can do so much with this backlighting. You can do color cartoons. You can do drawing your own cartoons. You can do drawing your own sketches. You can do exact measurements. You can do all kinds of things in all kinds of props, industries, backgrounds, storylines. scene work, all kinds of stuff. I'm not trying to sell you junk. This is actually very, 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 very cool. So this is what is this thing here, which is the backlit artboard. Let me show you this one more time. You can do tracing. You can do every kind of thing you can imagine. And it is the coolest, one of the coolest things. Obviously, look at those glasses too. But the reality, let me try and find this thing. Hold on a minute. And we are here again that's not it, is it? There it is. Okay, so again, this is an exceptional, exceptional, exceptional tool. So I will put a link to this for you in the description. You can find it pretty easily. And feel free, order one. Do yourself a favor. And I know some of this stuff costs money. I'm giving free ideas to do activities, free ideas to do stuff. I'm literally working a lot because I want to make sure that people have this information and it's out there fully and it's accurate to you. So I'm really into acting. If you need to ask me any questions and absolutely be clear about how this stuff works for you, finding a good reason at the door is incredible. It is incredibly essential to have good reasons. And I'll tell you, one of the things I think is overlooked in well over 30,000 acting exercises that I've seen. And I've seen more than that. But the reality is, the fact is that motivation is missed almost every single time. See, typically back in England and all these other things, basically the construct of motivation in acting was literally this situation where people would say, well, they're going to find a motivation, like the sleuth has to find a motivation or the detective has to find a motivation, and they're whatever. But they play the motivation. They play up the motivation. But that's not how I'm suggesting using it. I'm suggesting finding a real motivational element in you. Find something that you want to live out. Go into an experience that you want to explore and discover. Activate real emotion. And this will all help your acting. So listen, thanks so much. I really absolutely appreciate all this. And let me check this one thing here, and we will check out. Thank you. Hi, I'm inviting you to actually join me live on the internet. And if you would, you can bring your own emotional preparation. We can work on emotional preparation together, and we can really hone down and help build out that talent within inside of you. Now, even if all it is you want to just bring an emotional preparation, do a spoon river, I don't mind. Come, join us, and absolutely practice the talent of your own acting. Hi, I'm inviting you to actually join me live on the internet. And if you would, you can bring your own emotional preparation. Okay, so thank you so much. Hold on one second. I will put this back here. Absolutely improve yourself in acting. Absolutely expand your humanity. Acting is about expanding your talent, which is the ability to expand your emotional range and activate your own self-stimulated emotion. You self-stimulate your own emotion. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.